If you haven't seen my first two practical full drive videos, make sure you go to my playlist, go to practical full driving. I've renamed the first two being part 1, part 2, so it's easy to find. This is going to be part 3. So I'm out at my local tracks, checking it out, getting myself stuck, and hopefully show you a thing or two, and hopefully you should learn from it. If you haven't seen in my socials yet, I've did an announcement recently. My Teespring online store is now open, so RuggedLife Teespring is now online. We've got shirts, jerseys, cell phone cases, some decals, some stickers, and little bits and pieces as well, both for men and women. So the product range is going to grow through time, and the designs as well. So at the moment I've got 3 designs, and that will grow as well. If you want to be entertained with turbocharged monster trucks going up hills and breaking stuff, then this is not the channel for you. However, if you want to hone your driving skills, be safe on the tracks, look after our tracks in the national parks, and make the most out of your vehicle, regardless if it's a all-wheel drive vehicle like this or a four-wheel drive vehicle, then stay tuned and watch my other videos. Now remember, whatever you drive, whether again it's an all-wheel drive vehicle like this or a full-on four-wheel drive, your driver's skill is the most important thing, because these vehicles are way more capable than what you think they are. It will take you to places without even breaking these things, as long as you know what you're doing and you take the necessary precautions. So this is an example of let's just say dried up bog. So if you take all the water off a bog hole or a mud pit, it will look similar to this. Now you got to remember that there's always going to be a ridge in the middle, because obviously that's where the two tires, dig in, and it's going to eventually form a deeper ridge. And if you look at that, watch my footing, if I look at that, that's a pretty deep ridge. So what you can't see in a bog hole is the one that's going to get you stuck. So if you got a stick and you poke through a bog hole, so you would stand on the side here, right? Okay, and then you would start poking your stick in the middle, in the sides. Don't forget to poke where your wheel's going to go. Find that ridge, so put your stick close to where the ridge is, and then just visually, like if you lift the stick, you can kind of gauge how deep that's going to be. Just slowly pull the stick, and then especially in the middle, all the way through the end, because you never know where it gets deeper. Because I tell you, you can have 35-inch tires, 40-inch tires, lockers front, rear, and 300 horsepower, whatever you got. If your belly gets scraped here and you get bellied out, you're not going anywhere. See, this is another example of a bog, and the entrance tells you already. Look at how deep that ridge in the middle is, which is good, because from the beginning, even before entering the bog hole, you can already figure out whether you're going to be bellied out or your diff's going to scrape. But looking at that, we never know what's in that hole. All right, especially if there's a chicken track, it's most likely a deep hole. So again, you walk around here, keep poking, find that ridge, especially in the middle, see how high that ridge is. And not only that, also poke for debris, logs, wood, stones, rocks, because normally when people get stuck, they shove everything underneath the tires to try and get traction and get ground clearance up to get over it and then make it through. You look at the trees, if there's any trees around, see if there's any scrapes, that will tell you an indication that they've winched out of here. Will give you an indication of how hard the bog hole is, whether to take the chicken track or give it a go. If you decide to give it a go just for fun, because you've got your recovery equipment, you got a winch, you got an anchor point, or you got your mates to pull you out, people forget one important thing, and excitement takes them, and they forget to pre-rig their recovery equipment. For example, if you've got a winch, get your winch ready, your remote. Be terrible if you stuck and then you think you got a winch but you forgot the remote at home or something, you lost it. If you're gonna go do a snatch recovery, pre-rig your snatch strap or your equalizer strap, put it on top of the bonnet, hook it up to your roof rack or whatever. The worst thing that people do is go in a bog thinking their mate's there to pull them out, but what they not consider they get stuck in the middle, and one of them's got to jump in the hole and rig all the recovery equipment and get muddy and everything. So let's have a look at this track here. It starts out pretty basic and then it gets a bit gnarly down here. So there's two ruts, left and right. So you got your ridge in the middle, this one here. So you got to gauge, you know, what sort of ground clearance have you got and can you clear the ridge, because no matter if you've got locking differentials front and rear or whatever you have, 1,000,000 horsepower, if that ridge stops your belly, then you're stuck. And as you can see, let's find telltale signs. There's a scrape there from someone's belly, okay, and that's there because that's a bog, so that's probably soft. The wheel on that side sank down, so ground clearance lessened, thus he scraped that area. Let's go further down here. See, that's a bit of a high ridge, and look at that. It's a high ridge, look at that. He scraped his belly again all the way down. But see, that's not too bad because gravity, it's on the way down. Gravity will just pull you down anyway. You're just going to be scraping down. So if you've got a bash plate, not too much of a worry. So this is where we need to be careful, because looking at that and how long it's been soaking in there, as soon as you hit that, it's probably going to be a bit soft and it's going to sink you down. So if you had to go through this track, you'd have to straddle the ruts, which means you put your left tire here and your right tire here on this ridge here. Okay, the only thing you've got to be careful of, especially close to these water holes, is the middle, if it's soft or firm, to hold you in place. So looking at this, it's pretty solid. Now there's a couple of ruts that I'll demonstrate to you. Will show you why I prefer an automatic transmission if my vehicle does not have low range gearing. Okay, one of my latest videos explained that further. If you want interested with that, then have a watch of that. So if you don't have low range gearing, obviously you'll be faster over obstacles, which means that, for example, if it was rutted out further down and you got these couple of ruts, you'll need a bit of momentum to get over them because you're going to be a bit twisty, right? So with the automatic transmission, I can drive as slow as possible over these ruts, controlled, because the torque converter would, you know, do its job. And I won't, especially because I'm a independent suspension vehicle, not a live axle. The faster you go, the faster you hit the rut, the suspension will compress and your ground clearance would become lower. So the more chances of you scraping or banging against ruts. So this is why I drive really slow, because I can. I've got an automatic. And also this is why I haven't, well, touch wood, damaged anything in my vehicle yet, apart from a few, you know, small scrapes. So I'll put the camera down here and hopefully capture these two ruts, and we'll see how slow and controlled it is with no low range gearing and an automatic transmission.